What is up, people online? I'm really excited about today's topic and hope I can make you feel excited just like I am right now. So today's topic is what is a missing ingredient that can make your language learning successful? What I can tell right now is you have it right now. But the answer is actually twofold. So let me start with a conventional way of looking for the answer. So usually, when you want to improve your language learning ability, you go online, right? And you try to look for some common traits among all those successful learners to see what they all share in common. Do they all use the same materials and methods so that you can sort of, copy their way, try to duplicate their success? That's usually how people go around it, and no surprise. Second language acquisition research, they do it pretty much in the same way. They look for similarities among those successful learners and try to figure out what's the most important factor that attributes to their success. You know what? Your boy graduated from a TESOL master's degree, so I've read quite a bit second language acquisition studies, papers, all that kind of stuff. So what I can tell you is those common traits, if you divide it into two camps, so one camp that you don't really have a lot of control over it. So for example, age, there's a critical period for you to study a second language. If you missed that window, it's highly unlikely for you to reach a native-like level. Other factors like that include L1 interference, so how your native language will interfere your second language acquisition. For example, if you speak Chinese and you're trying to acquire English, and the set of mouth movement for Chinese and for speaking English can be drastically different. So you may have a lot of pronunciation issues, having a difficult time to pronounce like a TH sound, which we don't really have in Chinese. Another factor you don't have much control over is aptitude, which is basically another way to say talent. Why these academic people like to come up with the fancy words to say exactly the same thing. Like there aren't enough vocabulary we have to learn. They're not really being helpful. They're just trying to make things harder for us. Just kidding. Anyway, so these are some factors you don't really have control over. So on the other side of the equation, we have some things that we might be able to work on and change, to tweak a little bit here and there, or maybe acquire at a later age. Things like, learning context. Do you acquire language implicitly or explicitly? That's basically, do you sit in a classroom to study, or do you actually, talk to people, listen to people, so you naturally acquire the language? If you have a deep dive into this topic, you'll realize that people actually don't really have a consensus on it. They are saying very different things. Some of them say implicit learning is more efficient, some say explicit learning is more efficient, and some say, at the beginning, implicit learning is actually worse than explicit learning, but over the long run, they're actually kind of similar. So which one you want to believe? I don't really know. But that's learning context. And we also have input. You can control the amount of input that you do. You also have control over the quality of input you do. So what kind of materials you're using to study. And one very popular second language acquisition theory, which is called comprehensible input theory, it falls into this category. So basically, control your input. How do you select your input? Another thing is about affective factor. Again, so a fancy way to say emotion-related matter. So things like motivation, how motivated you are when it comes to learning a second language. And lastly, we also have cognitive abilities. So that's like your working memory and long-term memory. Some people have a better working memory. They can retain information for a longer period of time. Like some people struggle even memorizing their phone number. Like me, for example, it took me quite a while to remember my phone number. So if you don't have very good working memory ability, you're basically in a disadvantaged position. So that's what second language acquisition does. And basically they say all of these factors that I mentioned are indicative of how successful a learner will be. If you have higher motivation, you have better, cognitive ability, you basically have a better chance to succeed. So now you can understand how research works. But the thing is, you try them out, you're highly motivated learner. You put comprehensive input theory into practice, and you are able to do this for a sustained period of time. But it didn't work. You got so confused. Everybody's saying this shit works, but it doesn't work for you. And all the research papers saying they work, but it doesn't work for you. What is going on? The answer is pretty simple. Because they missed one, I would say, the single most important factor, that is you. I'm not denying all these common traits that they share. Apparently they do matter, but taking this all into consideration, they actually achieved success in a slightly different way. Even it all falls under comprehensive input theory. The way that they actually do it is very different, and what they actually use can be very different. So they actually achieved success in a slightly different way. Everybody is different because every individual is weirdly unique, and successful learning can be only achieved by adding this extra layer of a flavor of you on top of those things that those research say work. And I bet even if you leave out like 1 or 2, maybe 3 or 4 things on the list, but you make your learning your learning. You specifically design it as a way that suits your needs, your style, your personal interests. You'll probably still make it. However, on the contrary, if you got everything on the list covered, but your learning is not you, your learning is not your style, it doesn't fit your reality and interests, you're basically following the prescribed strategies and methods and materials, there's no way you will end up speaking a second language fluently at the end. You are uniquely you, and your learning has to be about you. Every single individual is uniquely weird, like in a good way. We all are. You are the only you among billions of people on this planet Earth in this vast universe. And we have developed weird habits and preferences that's ingrained in us across the years that we've lived. And that's something special. No one will be able to fully understand you. There might be 1 or 2 people might get really close to that mark, but they will never fully understand you. It's least likely these researchers and YouTubers, like language learning YouTubers like me, when we are sharing our experiences and recommending you a specific way to study English, understand you. We don't really know you. You can kind of imagine how things will work out if you just rigorously follow what we say or what research say. It's a recipe for disaster, to say the least. At the end, it all boils down to the courage and willingness to follow your curiosity. What do I mean? So just imagine yourself as an artist, just for the sake of this analogy, please. So you are an artist, and the art pieces that you are creating are language that you speak. So language is your artwork, something that you creatively create. Just like every single artist, like great artists, they all uniquely different. And you see Picasso's painting, you know, okay, that's Picasso. And you see Van Gogh's painting, you know, that's Van Gogh, because they have their mark on it. If you're just, copying other artists' work, they are not gonna stand out because that's not you. You're just copying. And the same goes to language. The way that you speak, the words that you use, how to combine them together, your rhythm, your personal style, all of these things are the equivalent of art pieces in language learning. So you are weird, you are unique. It's your weirdness, your uniqueness make your artwork stand out from the crowd. And you want to talk away, that is you. You want to talk about something that actually engages you. So you gotta consume things about this stuff you are. One thing I realized recently, which really bugs me, like I've been learning English for so long, and it's only recently I realized it's really not about fancy complex sentence structures or fancy big words that some people don't even understand. And when you are doing that, you're actually not contributing to the conversation or anything that you're trying to create. You're just messing things up. It's really about finding your own voice, putting things in a way that is you, to make sense to people, to convey your thoughts. That's what makes language learning meaningful and fun and interesting. And that takes courage. That takes a willingness to follow your own curiosity. You want to compile your own language learning materials. That's specifically you. The combination of things that you're interested in is definitely different from things that I am interested in. And even if we're interested in the same thing in the broader sense, like basketball, language learning, and you might approach these things in a different way, and eventually you will land on your own language learning materials. And also you want to specifically design a way that suits your condition, your lifestyle, and your way of learning. You do want to be open to these research findings and different input from YouTubers who have successfully learned language, but you don't want to take them as like a golden rule to go about language learning. At the end of the day, it's all about making it you. You want that piece of art, you. You want when people see it, they recognize you. They say, okay, that's Kevin's work, or that's somebody else's work. You want them to recognize you. You want to have your own voice. And that's an ingredient that's right there in you that people do not see, that they are missing. They go all their way out to find similarities and trying to copy other people's successful stories, but you can't. You have to make your own story. You have to write your own story because it's about you. I really hope this video can make you, maybe in a way, realize how important you are in the process of your learning, because it's all about you. Nothing else is more important than you. Like always, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye. Quick plugging ad. My language acquisition course is now available. So it does not really teach things like a specific English knowledge, grammar, vocabulary, all that kind of stuff. I don't do that. It focuses on psycholinguistics, second language acquisition. It tries to teach you how you can best match the way of your study and how your brain works so that you can significantly boost your learning efficiency. If you want to level up your language learning game, you don't want to waste any more time, I guess I'll see you there. You can find the link down in the description. And thank you again for spending 10-20 minutes of your life with me, listening to me rambling. I really appreciate it. Hope you have a good day. Bye.